This is my audience. Have you ever felt like dying because of the pain you're in? Well, with physician-assisted suicide, you can. Hello, my name is Hannah Wheeler, and today I will tell you why physician-assisted suicide is morally defensible. My understanding of PAS is that it is only used if the patient qualifies for that treatment, meaning they have a terminal illness and no pain medication helps them. The three things I will be covering is where the conflict about PAS comes from, how we can solve the issue, and in 2 steps and 2 different scenarios that could happen. The problem with PAS is that there are a lot of people that go on the internet and spread hateful things about it. For example, according to Ryan Anderson, author of 4 Problems with Physician-Assisted Suicide, PAS destroys families and corrupts the practice of medicine. He also claims that it endangers the weak and vulnerable, and it betrays human dignity. Another example is from Charles Pope, the author of Suicide is Contagious, Don't Let It Spread by Supporting PAS. He says that since 1997, the overall suicide rate has jumped up 40% due to PAS, even with healthy people. Now, we can solve the issue in 2 steps. The first step is you do as much research possible before providing false information. One way is to realize that a physician has to sign off on the death wish, or whatever you want to call it. According to Timothy Quill and Bernard Sussman, authors of Physician-Assisted Suicide, if a physician allows anyone to do this method, his title, and if he allows anyone to do it who is not in need of it, his title is stripped away and his professional license gets taken away as well. They also tell you to look at Jack Kevorkian. He was known as Doctor to Death. He assisted in about 150 deaths in the 90s and was sent to jail for 8 years for doing something he thought was humane and the right thing to do. And the second step is to mind your own business and realize that we have no control over it. PAS is a person's choice, and it is usually only for a person who needs it. It's seen as a last resort for help. People will commit suicide either way, so why not just do it the humane way? There are 2 ways that this can turn out. One way is that PAS can be denied by state laws, and there will be no more unless it is done illegally. There would also be no other way for a person's misery to end, since no medicine helps them. And the other way is that PAS could become legal and offered to people under certain circumstances to end their suffering. Once again, if a person is in that much pain, why should they have to suffer? We do it to our pets whenever they're suffering, so why can't a human pick their own fate? I hope this has let you come to the conclusion that PAS is not morally wrong. We discussed the conflict, how to solve the problems, and the 2 different outcomes that can happen. Hopefully we can come together and agree that PAS is morally right, and frankly, it's no one's business except the physician, the patient, and the families. Thank you.
Can I give side notes?
And this is our audience.